OpenAI is worth more than the entire GDP of the Netherlands. It has never turned a profit. These two facts coexist peacefully because valuation isn't what a company is worth, it's what someone believes it will be worth. And right now, investors believe OpenAI will be worth more than almost everything. A company's valuation is basically a number people agree on, the way you agree that a piece of paper with Benjamin Franklin's face is worth $100. It's real because everyone acts like it's real. OpenAI just raised a funding round that values the company at $852 billion, roughly the GDP of the Netherlands, Switzerland, and a medium-sized sense of existential dread. OpenAI started in 2015 as a non-profit. Its stated goal was to ensure artificial intelligence benefits all of humanity. Then it became a capped profit company. Then a regular for-profit. The profit cap quietly got raised. The mission statement got polished. The valuation went to $852 billion. Somehow these feel related. To put $852 billion in perspective, it exceeds the entire market cap of Tesla, dwarfs most major banks, and sits roughly at the size of the entire global video game industry, which took about 50 years to build. AI investors are not betting on what exists. They're betting on what comes next, and they've decided that's worth more than half a century of Mario. The funding will go toward compute, specifically, the enormous data centers that run AI models. Think of it this way, every time you ask ChatGPT a question, somewhere a warehouse full of graphics cards briefly becomes very warm. OpenAI needs to build more warehouses. A lot more warehouses. Warehouses on a scale that makes warehouse enthusiasts genuinely emotional. The race isn't really about who has the best model right now. It's about who can build fast enough to matter when models get dramatically more capable, which the people building them believe is coming soon. Compute is the bottleneck. Funding buys compute. This is why investors are treating data centers like beachfront property before anyone has heard of the beach. There's a pattern economists recognize: if everyone believes something will become dominant infrastructure, capital floods in to make it so. The belief creates the reality. It happened with railroads in the 1800s, with the internet in the 1990s, and apparently now with buildings full of hot rectangles doing math very quickly. The uncomfortable question isn't whether AI will be valuable. It's whether the value will be captured by shareholders, or distributed to the people who use it, teach it, and whose collective writing trained it in the first place. $852 billion is a very large answer to that question, but it's not the only one possible. History suggests that whoever controls the foundational infrastructure of an era substantially shapes how that era turns out. Not completely. Railroads didn't prevent labor movements, and the internet didn't stop monopolies from also being tedious, but substantially. The decisions made right now, while the concrete is still wet, are the ones that will be hardest to walk back. $852 billion is not a measurement of what AI is. It's a bet on what AI could become, placed by people with enough capital to help make it true. That's what makes it worth paying attention to, not because the number is impressive, but because numbers that large tend to quietly reshape the world around them, whether or not they were ever accurate. So here's what we're actually looking at: a non-profit that became a for-profit, a mission that got polished as the valuation climbed, and $852 billion flowing toward warehouses full of graphics cards, because the people writing the checks have decided that whoever controls the compute controls the era. The pattern isn't new. Railroads, the internet, now this. Capital floods in ahead of the infrastructure that shapes everything downstream. The bet isn't on what AI is today. It's on what it forces the world to become, and that bet is now large enough to help make itself true. What strikes us isn't the number, it's the confidence behind it. $852 billion says, we have already decided who wins, and we are buying enough of the future to make that true. We don't think that's conspiracy. We think that's just how foundational bets work. But it does mean the decisions being made right now, in boardrooms and server farms, are probably not going to be unmade later by regulators or op-eds or good intentions. Which leaves us with the question we can't quite shake: if the people with the capital are already certain how this ends, what role exactly are the rest of us playing?